The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Melt Show.
Full Melt.
There are, this has been a story we've been covering for so long, since November certainly, but there has been a lot of questions. About what exactly the new law means. Essentially, recreational marijuana for fun, is legal in Nevada. What is not legal, of course, is driving under the influence, driving impaired, say under the influence of marijuana or alcohol. And that is something that the Nevada Highway Patrol is reminding people about, that they will be enforcing these laws, looking for people who might be traveling under the influence of marijuana. In November, voters in these states said that legal marijuana would be okay up to an ounce as long as you are 21 years of age or older. But the NHP says that there are very strong laws. They remind people of impaired driving, and they say that they will be out enforcing those laws. If you are convicted of driving under the influence of marijuana, it carries the same legal penalty as a conviction for driving under the influence of alcohol. As for the new law, I want to remind people of this. The law reads essentially, you can have up to an ounce of marijuana in possession of up to an ounce, so long as you're 21 years of age or older. But casinos on the Strip have said do not smoke it on their property. It is not allowed in their hotel rooms. That's not a law, but it is their rule. It's also worth noting that, again, essentially the way the law is written, you can use it privately. So in your home, up to an ounce in possession as long as you're 21 years of age or older. That's essentially the new law. The winds of change with us on this first live report of 2017. And here's to wishing that I have better hair days to come. I'm Craig Figner reporting live. Back to you in our studio, where I assume there's not as much wind.
Craig, I have been there many times before. Lots of hairspray, my friends. I'll let you borrow.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
It's the Full Melt Show, a marijuana discussion about news, culture, and entertainment. TheFullMelt.com. It's your backyard. It's celebrity interviews, talks with politicos. Plus, your calls are on the air. Download the Full Melt app, free at the Apple and Android app stores. With your host, Steve Green, the Full Melt Show.
And welcome to 2017. It's just that fast. Bingo, bango, here we are. Up out of nowhere. And got this forever long lead in. I've got to edit the lead in so it's not quite so long. The music is... I want to introduce our co-host on the show, or I don't know what how would you... Oh boy, I've still got the music. I can't even ask her. There's something going on with the audio too. It's like, what's going on, Wendy? How would you characterize?
That's what I tried. I'm a co-conspirator, I guess.
You're a co-conspirator. Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
I like the way you put that. So are we co-conspire? It's a Hollyweed, Jollyweed Christmas. In case you're drinking beer.
It's a new year. It's a new year.
No, the Hollyweed, Jollyweed Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's...
You said it was New Year on your Facebook. It says Hollywood, Jollywood, New Year.
Well, it is a new year, but I mean, just, it's the song. You don't get the song thing? You don't have the song tie yet?
Oh.
It's weird when I do that. So, are we, is this thing on? Just making...
Yeah, I think our audio's fried because I can hear myself bouncing off in the background.
I don't want to know how you can hear, because whatever you hear, it doesn't matter, because everybody else hears something different. So what you hear doesn't matter, unless you can't hear us at all.
It just keeps breaking up, and I keep hearing myself.
No, I don't want to hear about it. Nobody else cares. The only one that cares is you, and it would matter if it was me too, but I can't talk about it all the time. Yeah. We can hear you just fine. The other option was to have Buzz on the line.
No Buzz. I don't like him.
He's a jerk.
He is.
Buzz, don't ever call back. Wait a minute. Did I say that right? I don't know. 248-278-8067. Did you see him change the Hollyweed sign, the Hollywood sign to Hollyweed?
I thought that was funny.
I guess that's the kind of thing I would have done if, I was maybe the kids, the new kids in town that are trying to pledge to the fraternity. I'd probably haze them on that one. All right. So you really want to be in the fraternity bad, right? Oh, yeah, man, we got to be in the fraternity. All the hot chicks hang out with the fraternity guys. All right, so here's what you got to be willing to do. Oh, no, man, we're not sucking dick. We're not doing all that. No, you ain't got to do that. What you got to do is you got to, I'd make them get in their underwear, though. You got to get in your underwear, go up on that mountain, climb over the security fence, and then make Hollywood into Hollyweed. And if you can do that and take a picture of it, you're in. It looks like somebody got in.
I heard it wasn't the first time it's been that way either.
What, with the changing the sign?
Yeah, it's been Hollyweed before.
Have they made it to Hollyweed before?
Yep, that's what the article said. And I think they did it for a movie, too, like in 76, they said.
Well, yeah, but I guess the movie thing doesn't count because it's kind of Hollywood putting out a...
Another prankster did it. Another prankster did it before.
Right, but then you stopped and you said, oh, well, that Hollywood did it too because they made a movie, and I was starting to talk about that. You're like, yeah, but that doesn't count because... So
it wasn't a first time out is what I'm saying. It wasn't the first time that's happened.
No, we figured that out when you said it's been done before, but then we wanted to argue about which ways it had been done.
Okay.
One way it was done by pranksters, the other way it was done by Hollywood, which isn't so prankstery.
But it's been twice by pranksters now, is what I'm trying to say.
We got that.
Prankster's done it plus, so it's 2 times prankster, 1 time Hollywood.
Got that figured out. Let me see here where we at. There's something popping up on me. I'm getting pop-ups.
Pop-ups.
Oh, there it is. I'm trying to get rid of the Skype because it's interfering with the show. The Skype is. But Skype doesn't like to go away. Like, Skype's one of those programs that you have on your computer, and if you tell it to, like, go away, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to pretend I'm going away. I'm still open. You just can't see me anymore. You have to say quit Skype, which is what I'm, And then it's like, wah, it wants to cry that you're quitting Skype. Oh, you sure you want to quit the Skype? We don't want it. We miss you. No, you don't want it. You just want to get credit from me all the time. Screw you. Quitting Skype. There we go. Now it can't interfere with the show. I think that was what was giving you the earlier. Talking to R2D2 or something.
I was going to do it on purpose, just pretend it was still happening.
But
it is happening. I can still hear myself.
No, what you got to do is you got to find a way to get the buttons like I got.
Oh, I can't have the same buttons as you have.
I didn't say the same buttons. I said you got to have buttons like I got. And then,
I don't have those buttons.
That's what I'm saying. You got to get some because then you have the buttons, and then if you want to play a trick on me, you can make me think that something's going on when it's really not going on.
Oh, okay.
You get what
all right.
You get what I'm saying?
I think so.
I don't. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to break. And not a moment too soon. We're talking today about all the new fantabulous stuff that's happening. What's your New Year's resolution? Do you have a New Year's resolution in the cannabis community? Because I know what mine is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't know. And do cannabis New Year's resolutions get made, and do they get kept? I don't know. That and some news coming up after this break. Hang on. You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp oil drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
You missed a lot.
Yes, sir. We are just here to get you qualified, okay, for the lower interest rates.
this is a Visa card.
Okay, it's a Visa card, starts with 4, right?
So why do you need the numbers off the card?
I was going to let you know, like, what is your new interest rate going to be and what you qualified for, okay?
Well, wouldn't it be a security risk if I was to give my card number over the phone?
Like, sure, we are the ones who send you the billing statements every month.
Aren't you really just a liar? Aren't you just lying about this? Aren't you just trying to steal my credit card number? Oh, you are. You little piece of shit. You're a little fucking liar, aren't you? You're a little foreign piece of shit, aren't you? You're a little foreign fucking puke, aren't you?
That's what you are. You fucking piece of shit.
Oh no! You get to suck my fucking. You get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign piece of fucking shit. There you go. That's how you do that.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law at RudoyLaw.com. RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana and up-to-date news. That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in. For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back. Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
That is the paradox. Like you can't make this. The civil employees rebut the presumption, right? The state just gave $8.5 million to this administrative agency to implement. I mean, the concept there is a little offset.
The police are still seen to be involved in it.
Nothing takes incentives away from police. In fact, it gives them more fish to shoot in the barrel.
Right.
The police are literally the regulatory agency for the entire program.
And why is that?
They needed their cut.
They're the only ones knowledgeable and responsible enough to handle it. This major public health and safety issue.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees show. Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
There's an echo pulling out the meaning, rescuing a nightmare from a dream.
And we're back on the 2nd of January, broadcasting from High Mountain of Marijuana, somewhere in the sticks in Michigan. Welcome, marijuana minions. Do we have marijuana minions? Should we call people marijuana minions?
I think so. They got to be called something.
I don't know. I think we should take, people's votes. I don't think anybody's going to call, though. They're not going to vote themselves what they want to call themselves. They're not going to call in and do that. Like I would. I'd be like, oh, you got to call me, King Marijuana, or you got to call me, I don't know. I'd come up with some cool name.
All right, let's put it out there for the people who come up with something there.
I want to talk about some stuff, but I'm kind of bored with it. Like all the stuff that's in the news is all the same stuff. Like it's all the past 20 shows you've just wanted to call Marijuana 2017 because that's all that's like everything's what it's about. Every single news story that you see out there, at least the top 10 that we deal with every day on this show, basically all talk about, it's all the kumbaya, holding hands and running towards the sun. It's everybody's all happy about the marijuana in 2017 thing, with one exception. And it's getting too much play. That's the idea that, Trump could do something and make this all go away. It's inappropriated fear. Hello? Nothing. Hello? Anyone?
I didn't understand. You're saying that Trump could make this all go away. What the bad things that are going to possibly happen?
Well, yeah, Trump could. First off, Trump is anti-drugs. He's anti-booze. I think he had an older brother or something. He explained during the election process that said, he fell astray to booze and drugs, and so he's always been against them, and doesn't really, do either one of them. But I
heard that he was pro medical marijuana and he wanted to leave that to the states, is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to start to finish. That's the other half of the sentence that I was going to say. But yeah, he has said that, yeah, I believe this is a states' rights issue. He doesn't really give a crap about the patients. I mean, I haven't heard him say, I see a lot of suffering people that can do good with marijuana might help them. He hasn't said that at all. What he's just said is, this is a states' rights issue. That I believe this should be left up to the states and that the federal government shouldn't have anything to do with it. Look, Republicans have always been about small government, unless you get on this subject. Then they're like, we need big prisons and we need lots of money to pay for police and to crack down on the pot guys. So, this is where Trump might lay different, but let's face it, he's nominated some of the most dastardly, if Hillary were to say it, these would be the 1% of deplorables that he's put into nomination for cabinet positions. And so because of that, I think that it's likely that most of this naysaying is coming from those appointments, those nominations. Because what he's saying is, these are the people that I want to run my administration, but those people are 180 degrees misaligned with popular politics about marijuana. The consensus amongst 80% or higher of Americans is people shouldn't go to jail for weed. Stop it already. It's nonsense. Chasing people down for some weed when this just happened next door. Or even worse yet, putting people in prison for pot for longer than people who killed somebody with intent. Like, I slayed this woman with a knife because I didn't like her anymore. She pissed me off. So I cut her heart out. Somebody like that is getting less time than some of these pot people. I mean, for crying out loud, Obama is letting out right now by the droves. People, he's commuted their sentences. So it's been 10 years or whatever. If you've done 10 years, he's commuted these life sentences to like this year or next year, you get out. These are people that were selling drugs. These are people that were selling crack, mostly, base cocaine. 90% of it's base cocaine. And he's commuting these sentences, and there's a guy that's been there for 39 years or 36 years or some ridiculous thing, his commutation has been denied. He doesn't even have a chance of having it maybe looked at again, and he just denied it. Oh, you're one of those nonviolent pot guys. Yeah, fuck you. You get to stay there and rot in hell. Meanwhile, all you crack guys, all you guys that were out there selling the crack on the streets, looking at your pagers in the 90s that got busted and we sent off to the pokey. All you guys, round them up, get them out of here. Now you, with the pot leaf on your shirt, you stay over there and stick your nose in the corner. And you don't get any commissary today. You hear me? No commissary, no telephone. Yeah, go back. Put him in solitary. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but.
Well, there's an alternative. Maybe the business idea and aspect of this is not going to be denied with, this is supposed to be like a $60 billion business by 2020. And all these people that are invested across the nation, they're not going to want to give up at what they're already making money in. And they're going to say, look.
They didn't want to give up when this was all underground. When this was an underground economy, the idea of putting somebody in prison for 10 years because they grew some pot in the back room to some dude down the street or whatever. None of that's in play here, right? I mean, when these guys were underground, when there were no medical cannabis laws, we're talking 70s, 80s, 90s even, up until late 90s. all these guys were getting busted for pot, and they weren't, like I said, they were just doing, prison was just part of the price of doing business, because we're going to stay open. We're not going to shut down our pot sales because you guys don't like it. And that's what it came down to. We're getting more prices. We're getting better prices now because, we get the domestic stuff. We got the imported stuff. Depends on what you want to pay. What I'm saying is people weren't unwilling to, or they were unwilling to roll up the sidewalks on the pot sales. The just outright prohibition with very strong penalties attached weren't stopping people from doing that then. What makes you think now that their states have approved it, that the federal government saying no, still dragging their feet, kicking and screaming, is going to stop them now? And don't
now we're legitimized and they're making big money at it in the public eye. They're not going to give up that street corner now. They're not giving it up.
You know who Gavin Newsom is?
Yeah, I think I do.
Who is he?
Newsom. It sounds like. Off the top of my head, I think he's a politician.
He is. He's the governor of California. And
there you go.
So Gavin Newsom is one of the guys that has been pro-pot, right? He's always been about, let's get marijuana done here in California. Is he lieutenant governor? He's not the governor. He's not the governor. He's lieutenant governor. Let me just look him up. He's not the governor. I take that back. I definitely overspoke there. I realized that when I said it. I'm like, wait a minute. Gavin Newsom is not the. So I think it's lieutenant governor. I'm just double checking. Yeah, it is.
He's governor, running for governor.
Yeah, it's Gavin Newsom. He is running for governor, but he's currently the lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
So I had to correct myself and double check because, I'm like, wait a minute. He's not the actual governor. In any event, he is, I don't see somebody like him or, especially if he runs for governor and gets elected, because I think he's going to. This guy's very likable. This guy's one of the most likable guys I've seen since President Clinton was, running for office, because he was very charming. He got a little surly in his later years. Oh, I'm not president anymore, blah, 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 Monica. He got a little surly later on, but I don't blame him. If everybody was still pointing their darts at me and I just saved this country a whole bunch of, despair from the Bushes and the Reagans, going forward, I just created a huge surplus and handed you a steaming economy that's just booming along. He did all this, and then still people were like, "Oh, Monica, it's the oral office." Whitewater, and it just goes on. And it followed right into Clinton. They had to, change all that poison into Mrs. Clinton. And whatever. But I'm just saying, I'd be kind of bug-eyed and surly if I was him too. Look, I just did a whole bunch of favors for you guys, and you guys still want to point darts at me. I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars now doing interviews and public speaking. So screw y'all. And so he's been out there with an open mouth. I'm glad that the one guy that deserves to keep his yapper shut is Bush. Bush is still keeping his yapper shut. I'm glad.
He has no one writing his words for him now.
Well, that because, he was even stupid when he was, he sounded stupid even reading the words that were written for him. He still sounded dumb as a rock. And I can imagine that he would definitely look like he was standing in front of either a funny farm or a home for people with, who are less able.
Well, what about some positive news? I just ran into some positive cannabis news that I think I just ran into it like 15 minutes ago. And that is that the WHO, the World Health Organization, not the group, okay, they're taking the first steps to reschedule medical marijuana under international law. That could be a really big thing.
I don't know.
Of course it would be. But they're taking the first steps. So that's a positive thing.
Yeah, but it's not really news, though. I mean, it's not.
It's not that they're just taking the first steps. When did that come out?
It happened. These aren't really the first steps. The first steps were back at the United Nations when they voted this, months back. You know that the United Nations took this under their. This whole thing has been up for a vote there, right? You know that. The WHO is just following suit with what the UN did. That's why I'm saying it's not really news. They're just doing the same thing. They just kind of go along with that groove.
They said they're going to have a special session to discuss it in the next 18 months.
In fact, this might even be, this might even be something that the United Nations pointed at them to do. Look, the WHO needs to take this under advisement and start looking at this more seriously. So this may have even been scheduled by the stuff that has been voted on at the UN level. But, I hate even looking at the UN because, first off, you understand that the current administration is looking at defunding the United Nations. Did you hear those threats being made?
Yeah. Yes.
So the United Nations is really only in existence so that the United States can have some official position on the world stage. That's really what it comes down to. Look, the United Nations isn't headquartered anyplace else but New York City. There's a reason for that. Nobody else is going to pay the price and house the building and, pay for the administration of it, all the people that run it, all that stuff. It was the United States.
Plus all the hookers you got to keep in business too.
I'm just saying that's all being paid for by the people, by our tax dollars. If this was reliant upon any other sole, nobody else was stepping up to create the UN. It's I think strictly a puppet of the United States. It gives them an ability to legitimize what they're doing with foreign affairs. Foreign policy. This gives them an ability to say, hey, well, the UN says this. Well, you know what? Pretty much nothing happens at the UN without at least the permission of one of the major players, the United States, Russia, and China. Without the cooperation of those guys, and I think Japan is in there too. I don't remember. The U.S., Russia, and China are the big players. They have veto power. So if all of the rest of the world gets together and says, this is what the world wants to do, if any one of those three guys doesn't agree, it doesn't happen at the UN level. But what I'm worried about here is the broader picture, especially now that you bring the Russians into this, because there's a bigger stage that people in this country don't look at. It's the broader world stage, but most of the people with power and control in this country, especially the Republican Party of our system, doesn't like to look at the world stage and think that it has any legitimacy, that they all just follow after us, that they're just living off of our coattails, like our scraps, like they're the peasants. The rest of the world are the peasants of the United States. I mean, that's kind of how our people in our country tend to look at the UN and the remainder of the world. We're the leader, so everybody must be following us. So why are we looking over our shoulder at the rest of them, eating our scraps? I mean, that's kind of how it's looked at. And so, but I don't look at it that way, because first off, they're not all eating our scraps. Second off, we haven't made friends with a lot of these people. Third off, like I said, the United Nations is just a way to, push international law or, UN strategy, which is, again, really, a puppet of the United States, because without the U.S., none of this would happen. None of this would go down. The U.S. would just be in a position to push its weight around by military might. And it still is. It just does it from a political bargaining standpoint at the UN. But what I'm saying is the broader world has already looked at drug policy and said, United States, even though you forced us to swallow this pill, because, you came and told us years ago that if we wanted your help and cooperation and aid, U.S. aid, and we do, then you've got to sign this treaty that says that you've got to make marijuana public enemy number one on the drug stage. That you got to keep calling marijuana a scheduled substance that you can't produce or market or use. It's a terrible thing. We're getting ready to go to break here in a second. But I just think as the world stage is changing, you're going to see that, this Russia thing take place. I don't know what's going to happen with this Russian connection with the vice president's or the president's nominees or there's some funny business going down here with the Secretary of State. There's a lot of connection with Trump business and money in the world stage, and the UN and the pulling out of the UN and the threatening of NATO there's some foreign policy issues that are going to strain relations and push people into doing things they may not otherwise have done. Maybe threaten world peace. That's what I'm worried about, because there are definitely people that would like to see war made in this country because they produce weapons of war, and those guys will want to buy them then. You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp well drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Camorr.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll free, to attorney Michael Camorr. 800-656-3557. Write it down. 800-656-3557.
Michael Camorr gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Camorr. Vigorous criminal defense.
Play-Doh compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call, speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. Back on the air, riding the saddle for 2017. Cannabis news and information is what we do here. Entertainment, lifestyle. Got our finger on the pulse of America regarding cannabis. In fact, I would challenge you right now. Eric Owens, by the way, I saw on the Facebook feed during the break, 248-278-8067 if you want to chime in and say something. Please do. With us on the phone is Wendy, as always. Welcome back, Wendy. Are you there?
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Wendy.
Yeah.
We had an awesome time out at our friend's house this weekend. That was a pretty good party.
Oh, yeah.
And
allegedly.
Allegedly. What party? What was there a party? Does anybody remember a party? I went to bed this year and woke up next year, and I'm not sure what happened in the middle there. So
I can tell you what happened for me.
Oh, I don't know. Should we hear? Should we listen? Should we wait for it? Yes, no?
It's quick. I literally yesterday went down for the count at 4 p.m. and did not get up to 10 a.m. today. Like, I was down for 18 hours. I recharged for 2017 and I'm ready to go.
It took that much on the recharge?
18 hours.
See, now I'm jealous. See, so I've got currently I'm looking at the viewer on Facebook. It says 1. And then I'm looking at the live thing on Freebie Mom. It says 2.3 thousand people. I'm telling you, I'm picking the purse of Freebie Mom. I'm figuring out what she's got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if we were the freemarijuana.com?
I think it should happen. I think it sounds great.
We'd bury Freebie Mom. We should get.
I think so.
You know what we should do? We should call Freebie Mom and get her on the show and see if she smokes weed.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Freebie Mom does weed.
She needs to. If she doesn't.
She's got to be a modern Freebie Mom. Freebie Mom sounds a little bit. I don't know. Freebie Mom sounds like a milfy thing.
I'm telling you. First of all, you have the name Mom in there, so that's kind of like not the idea of like freewheeling, if you ask me. You know.
When I hear Freebie Mom, all I hear is Freebie MILF. That's,
Freebie MILF or milk.
MILF, MILF. You know what a MILF is, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's what I hear when I hear Freebie Mom. Just for some reason, she sounds kind of slutty.
Stinky?
Just not. Well, I don't know if she's stinky. She sounds kind of slutty. Kind of like
kinky. Kinky.
I thought you said stinky.
She could be stinky. That could be the kinky part. I don't know.
No, that's nasty. If somebody's into stink, that's just gross.
Some people like it.
I think they are. Some people are like, give me that stink, baby. I want that stink. Show me that stink.
Stop.
I make you gag.
I'm just saying, if we go on YouTube and they demonetize us because you said something about stinky, I'm going to be mad.
Oh, they won't do that. What they'll do is they'll demonetize us for playing music. That's what they'll do.
Oh, well, then let's don't do that.
We're not going to play any copyrighted material here without permission.
No. Mm-mm.
They don't got a fingerprint on the news clips we use, so screw you. Wait till YouTube.
Yeah.
Wait till they figure out a way to do that.
Mm-mm.
Look, it's in the news organizations, it was pretty much always understood you were allowed to rebroadcast what we did as long as you gave us credit. As long as you weren't trying to say it was your reporting. And that's kind of what we always do here on the front of the show. I always play the ins and the outs. I always let them say their call letters, who they are, where they're reporting from. Look, I'm not trying to pretend we're them. We're just playing what they got going on because it's a glimpse across the world about what's going on in the cannabis world.
I think that's proper notation. Like if you were writing a paper, you're giving credit where credit's due. You're not plagiarizing, that sort of thing. No.
I'm worried now. I turned off our YouTube video feed. I turned the camera off on the video feed. And the reason is because when I had the camera on, I think it was Workhorse in the CPU here. I think it was saying, oh, no, we can't send out that many video feeds. So that's what's making it go, It's doing that.
That's so special.
Well, I was listening. I monitored during the break the Facebook feed, and it was giving us some stuttering. It was giving us some digital stuttering.
You know what we could do? Instead of playing music that's copyrighted or whatever, there's so many people we know that's in the music business.
No. Leave the radio part to me, Wendy, please. We're not gonna...
Why not have people that, like, we highlight, like, different local artists or whatever?
No. Answer is no. Leave the radio.
I'm going to put this to the audience.
Well, you go right ahead, but the answer is still no.
We're
not going to do that.
I'm going to ask the audience.
There's a reason that we do pop. I don't want to talk about this on the radio. There's a reason we do what we do the way we do it.
Okay.
So if we start changing it, all of a sudden we're turning to the Plant Green Tree show or something.
I don't know. Wait.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, folks, we're close.
No, look, I come from a place of traditional radio. And part of what traditional radio's got figured out is how certain things get done. The reason things get done a certain way is because people like them that way.
And then things are innovated and people like those things.
Yeah, but we don't do things on in a broadcast way that aren't test marketed. That we don't know what people want or don't want about this. I can tell you doing local music going in and out of breaks will do us no fit. It's number one, it's still copyrighted if they're playing popular fare. Number two, it's not going to get us any listenership. The reason we do popular music going in and out of the show is because it's recognizable. So when you hear it, it's like, oh, I know that song. Hey, I like that song. Hey, that's a current song. It lets people know that we're fresh, that we're not something from 3 years ago. We couldn't get that from the other thing. Anyway, look, back. I've defocused completely about this crazy suggestion of how we should do the radio. I wanted to think about the gaming aspect, and try and figure out what kind of game, besides. Okay, so we've got a trivia game, right? Do we have a name for that contest yet?
We did come up with a couple of them. I thought it was like Jollyweed or...
No, well, see, no, that's a different game. Because Marijuana Jeopardy would be like the real Jeopardy, but with a marijuana twist. So the categories and the questions or the answers would all be marijuana ones. But the right now we have a marijuana trivia game, which we really don't have a name for or a hook on, an angle on.
Favorite trivia games, like one is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That's a trivia game, but it's disguised in a different way. You know, like there's a lot of different ways to market a trivia game.
Let's see who
ask trivia questions.
Let's see who we got on the phone with us. Is this Eric?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Eric. This is Eric Owens. Where are you calling from? Is it South Dakota or North Dakota, Eric? South Dakota.
Bismarck, North Dakota area, about 40 miles from the famous Standing Rock Reservation.
Okay. So you had a question or comment?
I just wanted to comment on our new draft language, the language that we've made for North Dakota and what Missouri has.
All right.
And
go ahead.
Well, I just want to tell you guys that, with you guys with MPP out there, and they're trying to put the language together, see if they're going to work with the MI legalized or not, and all your great marijuana activists in Michigan. What I try to convey to all them is that we're going to have set-aside convictions for all prior past convictions, non-violent marijuana convictions, for long deferred violence when you sold marijuana or possessing it. You have that taken off your record, set aside. And right. I just really want you guys out there to know that if they can do it in North Dakota, what I'm doing here, and I'm from Michigan, and they're doing it in Missouri, they're already done in Oregon, they just did it in California, there is absolutely no reason that they can't come to some sort of solution where they can put that on a ballot proposal for Michigan.
Well, in the first place, and I've said it privately, I'll say it now publicly because it's still my position. Even though I think in my heart of hearts, my marijuana friends are really into the politics of this. They're like, whoa. I know they're going to say, don't say it, Steve. Don't be a divider, Steve. And so I'll give them that devil's advocate position before I say what I'm going to say, but I still stand by what I'm going to say because I say it for the right reasons. And maybe this will be the linchpin of us with the marijuana issue in states like Michigan where we haven't gotten this done yet. There's really no reason why we shouldn't have been number one in the California position 20 years ago. Honestly. We've still got the same people here trying to do the same thing. But that didn't happen. What I'm saying is that I don't think right now, because, back in 2008 when we started this, if I have to reel it back a little bit, let's just wind the timeline back. Back in 2008 when they started doing this, or got this done, rather. They started doing it before then. They got it done in 2008. And I was a big promoter of MPP in that process because I wanted MPP to be a part of that because it was a philanthropic effort. It was being funded at that point in time by Peter Soros? Peter is the founder of, and he's dead now. God rest his soul. But he's the founder of Progressive Insurance. They're out of Ohio. And so Flo and all that stuff, the progressive box guy that is played by the former Saturday Night Live guy, all that stuff came out of the pocket, still does, of Peter Soros and his foundation and whatever he's left over to run that business. It's still a privately run business, but he used that money, a lot of it, in philanthropic efforts to get marijuana legalization done in many states across this country. And he's done it since then. But see, when Peter died, he left behind the organization because he contributed a lot of the money towards MPP. He was one of the guys that MPP principally relied upon for that money, that seed money to go and get this done. But at that time, they were simply backing local states' efforts to get things done. Whatever the state was going, we're going to go in there and see if they're on target with the politics on this. If they are, we're going to back them and give them the money to make sure that they can do this. Because that's the only thing lacking is the money. So let's give them money, let them do it. So that's what they did. And they did it here in Michigan. MPP got behind the Michigan initiative, and they got it done here. Since then, MPP has drastically changed. The people that were donating all that money have either died or run out of money. And so MPP has now morphed. The people that are funding MPP are now the Marlboros of the world. The big box cannabis people of the world are funding MPP now. And now, rather than coming in and backing whatever state initiatives you've got going on, MPP wants to write the language. They were principally amongst the fuckery going on in Ohio. Back when Ohio was trying to, screw this all up with the Bud Man or whatever the hell that thing was, and going to the colleges and the universities and trying to promote the Big Ten growth plan. MPP got behind all that stuff. Some of that stuff that was going on, MPP was involved in. Not necessarily that particular campaign, but others that also failed. It's because they're greedy. They want to write this in favor of the big business, not in favor of the people of the state, not in favor of patients or caregivers. They want to write this for themselves now because the people giving the money to get it done have changed. They're no longer philanthropic, free the weed guys. Now they're big box, high profit guys. And they don't.
And Steve, that I just would like you guys to know that MLE guys has a chance to do what they want. And MPP can be, MPP put the set-aside convictions for California. And plain and simple, I just want to give people in Michigan to know that Missouri has their petition approved by the Secretary of State 2 weeks ago. And theirs is beautiful. You can read it. I posted it on Michigan Normal and Buzz of the Day and put the format, their whole petition language. And on there, Section 6, my favorite section, anyone who does not comply with the set aside of convictions or doesn't in the states or the Secretary of State, they have to have paperwork easy for people to get to have their convictions expunged. They are in violation of a Class A misdemeanor. That means the judge and law enforcement.
Hang on, Eric, because we're hitting the break and the music's going to give you a hard time about being able to hear me. So hang on to the thought. We'll explore this idea and some others. Stand by, Wendy. We haven't lost track of you. Are you there? She probably can't hear me. Yep, she's here. Yeah, okay. She said she can hear us. Sorry, Wendy. Hold on. We'll be right back after this break, and we'll talk about North Dakota and I think he said Montana and am I legalized after these messages. You're getting the full melt. And now a Planet Green Trees flashback.
When do the medicals have to be tested too? Is that also part of the caregiver?
No, that's only for the
They have to be tested.
It's only for the dispensaries.
There is a new restriction with respect to medicals in that patients can only make them for themselves.
Right.
And they've created new crimes for transfers outside of the caregiver.
They're very specific. But I mean, it's not. It's no more harsh than the manufacturer.
No. They can be transferred. The medicals can be transferred from the registered caregiver to the registered patient, but not beyond. And that's how they would expect you to interpret the law.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees show. Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The No-Smell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a No-Smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about No-Smell technology at NoSmell.com.
Don't stop chasing wonder while the day brings up becomes a sunrise, and we'll see the sunset coasting by the ocean with some music. Turn it up, we got the whole night, 360 days of this. All on why the memories will make you always make you.
Happiness is calling at sandiego.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. David Bedoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Bedoy Law at BedoyLaw.com. BedoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana and up-to-date news. That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at BedoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clear skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Then I take it all back, take it all back, take it all back. I take it all back to have you.
All right, so we're back on the program. You know, Wendy had mentioned earlier in the program this thing about Senator Warren. Senator Elizabeth Warren been a big person about banks and banking. She's on the banking committee in the Senate.
Hey, my life is real great. Feel I'm well on my way to my dreams.
I wanted to make sure that we took some time before the show ended to reach back around and talk about that a little bit. I wanted to mention that during the reach around. You had to do a reach around with Elizabeth Warren. I did want to reach back and talk about that because I think that is news. But let's finish what we were talking about. Eric, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop the show audio just because we might go over a little bit, and we've only got a small segment at the end of the show here.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop this audio and pick it up later from the same position. Hang on, I got to reposition myself now. It's all gotten changed around on me. So listen, when you were saying,
yes, sir.
You were saying that you were saying supportive things about what MPP had done in other states and.
No, I did not say supportive things.
Oh, okay, all right. I don't want to put
what I'm trying to tell you is I'm in charge of North Dakota and our petition ballot.
Right.
And a friend of mine from Missouri, Tom Giulio, who just had theirs approved by the Secretary of State, and what ours will be similarly at the end of the month, is going to have set-aside convictions and have people have prior convictions for marijuana offenses that are nonviolent taken off of the record.
No, I got you.
And if the government doesn't comply with that within the 60-day amount of time, they are in violation of a Class A misdemeanor.
Right. But
this stops bureaucracy from dragging their feet.
Not necessarily. I mean, look, Michigan. I'll give you an example where that might not play out the way that you think it might. It's difficult for the government to give themselves, or entities of the government, to give themselves a penalty for not complying with their own laws. And here's why. There's nobody there to enforce them if they don't want them to be enforced.
That's correct. And that's why we're doing a constitutional amendment. And so that's solid. That means Steve Green can make a citizen arrest at any judge or law enforcement officer that doesn't help comply with you if you had prior convictions, having your record sealed.
Yeah, no, I get you, but it still requires the cooperation of the people that have the power, the police and the judges and the prosecutors. They still have to be willing to play along with this. And if they're not...
No, not once you put that Class A misdemeanor, and what they are doing is breaking the law, that's what gives Steve Green the leverage to give a citizen's arrest.
Okay, I get you, but I still think...
You really need to read the Missouri law, and, I posted on Michigan Normal 2 days ago, buzzes a day, and you can read the whole thing and see the whole website, the whole language. And I just really want to part to Michigan that them saying that there's no way they can just use set-aside convictions is bullshit.
Okay, here's the thing.
And your angle saying the MPP that they're all about money is correct, but maybe the MPP might realize that Maybe I should put this on here. They did it for the good people.
Look,
California.
okay, I'll say
Why
this.
not Michigan?
I'll say this. So yes, they did get it put in California. However, if you're big box marijuana, and I'm telling you that's who MPP is now, they're big box marijuana. It would not make any sense for them to want to create the rules around an industry in a state that represents 1/5 of our U.S. economy. It's 1/5 of our GDP in this country comes out of California. If it's representing such a large chunk of the world's national economy, the national economy of the world, we are a world economy. It would not make sense to then say, well, the people who've used to do this should stay in prison because they're going to get out of prison and they're going to buy their big box marijuana products.
Right. And Steve, can I ask you a question though? Seeing that we're both on the same level here on this question here.
Yeah.
You personally have worked with MI Legalized.
Yes.
You know of the people and the headshots of MI Legalized.
Yes.
I want to know what you personally feel about MI legalizing, joining the MPP, and not having set-aside convictions on the ballot.
Okay,
What's your stance?
So first off, I already told the people that I am connected with through MI Legalize, except with the exception of Jeff Hank. I haven't told Jeff this, but if he's listening to this show, he can listen to this too. And maybe he wouldn't be happy about me saying this, but I am not for and will not support a marriage between MPP and MI Legalize and help them with that ballot language and petition drive. If indeed the people of this state are not allowed to write the ballot language, MI Legalize should be writing that ballot language and nobody else. If MPP wants to get on and help support us, that's one thing, but I'm not inviting big box marijuana to come in and write this law. I don't care what. I don't care.
How do you feel about set-aside convictions?
Well, I think it's important to set aside convictions because the whole heart of this is that we don't believe that people who believe in a cannabis economy or anything around it, whether you're a medical user or a recreational user or a grower or a supplier or whatever you are connected to it, I don't believe that any of those people are doing anything criminal. I think they're participating in a world economy with commodities. And I don't think jail time should ever be a part of it. So, of course, I think that...
Do you think what we are doing in North Dakota and what Missouri has done, Oregon has already done, what California got, do you think it should be on the petition then?
I think...
MI Legalize goes on their own, or it should be with MPP? Either way.
I think that language should be included in whatever petition gets forwarded forth, whether I support it or not. I would have a lot more support towards it.
There, Steve, I didn't know.
No, don't be nervous. Look, opinions are like assholes. We all got one. But I think I think that some of us are a little more wise with the position, and so I'm very split. I'm very split about this because at the end of the day, and I said it again, I promised I wouldn't say that this year, didn't I, Wendy? I said it again.
You've got one pass.
I got one pass. I got a free get out of jail card with that phrase. When you stand back and look at the broader picture, it's really important that be included. But also in that broader picture should be taking the position that if we're going to get this done, we shouldn't let somebody else with a bunch of money come and get it done for us and take away from us the things that we think are important, like home grows.
Or the things that you personally, that the community needs.
Well, the size
in there, it would be horrible, wouldn't it?
Well, here's what I'm concerned about. I have a lot of guys that run grow shops that would completely be closed down if you did away with home grows or cut their sizes. Their worlds would disappear in a heartbeat. Like all that economy would instantly disappear because none of these big producers, the ones that get these big licenses, etc., are going to be going to these grow shops to get their stuff. None of them.
But I totally agree. I totally agree with you.
And there are literally hundreds of them across the state. Hundreds and hundreds. If you think there are a lot of dispensaries, go count the grow shops. They're at least 50% of the dispensaries in numbers are equal by grow shops. So if you got 300 dispensaries, you got like 100 grow shops, 150 grow shops. Look, nobody that has a grow wants to drive a huge distance to go get the supplies they need almost routinely. So they're going to be popping up in little places where people need to grow. And if you take their ability to grow away, those grow shops and all of the economy that's created by them disappears. And I'm saying this is like this applies to the auto industry in this state. If you cut out the suppliers, if you close down the suppliers, or if you have trouble with suppliers, the big three suffers. Their ability to make money and profit goes down the tubes. There's no tie with the growers in this way. Like if you included in the law that they got to buy from the local shops, it just wouldn't work. It's not feasible. I'm saying there's no reason you should be taking the ability of people to grow away from them. Maybe you want to make sure that they're doing it right, that they've got the electric right, that there's that they've done an inspection to make sure that this is done properly, or that kind of thing. Whatever. Maybe you need some building inspection done, that kind of thing. But I don't think you should be taking their right to grow away because you want to preserve your right to profit from them in some store.
And I totally agree, Steve. I agree. And if I could just impart one last thing, if that's okay.
Please do, Eric. And thank you for calling the show, by the way.
And thank you for taking me on. I appreciate that. What we're doing here in North Dakota and what they've already done in Missouri, which we are mirroring. I'm from Michigan, and I have marijuana charges, felony manufacturing distribution from the year 2000. And those charges have haunted my life and just really held me back for things I didn't want.
That's what they intended them to do.
Exactly. It's a job.
It's the form of. Here's what I disagree about all of that. It's a form of permanent punishment. It's a form of saying that you're a lesser class citizen because you have this former conviction attached. None of that should make None of that should make any difference whatsoever if indeed you've paid your debt to society. If you've finished your probation or if you've gone to prison and come back out, your debt is paid. Your debt is paid, sir. And so therefore you should be like any other citizen. But in this country, they want to use your felony conviction as a reason to
deny the right in the state of Michigan my real estate license.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's my theft. I was flagged. I was sent to Lansing. They said, well, you were busted for selling marijuana. I said, in the board, these great people, nine board panel. I said, I sold $50 a pack to a guy I thought was my friend, and he didn't want to go to jail for 90 days of possession, so he knocked me out. They said, well, you're too dangerous to sell real estate.
Well, no, what it is.
I lost employment, and I just want to end that bullshit and give people who are working, who go on a straight track, a chance to get employment, a chance to get education, a chance to get licensing to work.
Wow, up there in North Dakota, you guys, I think we're talking to you through paper cups and a string, I think, Eric.
It's fucking horrible. I'm in a blizzard, so I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Well, that kind of explains it.
We're getting about another foot today. So,
oh, God, I'm glad we're not.
I feel bad for some guys down in Standing Rock about 40 miles away from here.
Yeah.
They're really getting shitted on.
They're not out there right now, are they? Didn't they all go back for now?
No, there's a hardcore bunch of them, and they're running about 500 to 800 of them out there. And they built a bunch of illegal places out there. Shelters, and there's about 500 to 800 of them out there.
I'm telling you, just so you know, it's my opinion, and you can come back to this tape and play it back after it happens, and I hope it does not. But I'm telling you right now that there's a stand down coming up there that's going to be at the coming of this new administration. There's going to be a standoff there that is going to equate to a Ruby Ridge type situation. You watch.
Oh, absolutely, there will be.
This will be a catastrophe, and I'm trying to tell people to avoid it. The forces that come to play, this pimple has come to a head out there in North Dakota, and it's going to burst, and when it does, it's going to be very, very ugly.
It's going to be fast, and it's going to be deadly, and it's going to be quick.
That's my prediction.
Trump came to Bismarck. You know when Donald Trump came here?
Yeah, I don't want to dive too.
He came here.
I don't listen, Eric. Wait a second. I don't want to dive too much into that conversation because it's a whole other conversation. What I do want to say is this about back to the MI legalized thing, because that was the push of your question, and then I want to move on to this other thing that Wendy brought up.
It was a set aside charges.
So if you've been convicted, I don't think that they, number one, even under a prohibitionist system, once you're out of the criminal justice system, I don't think that it should run around and haunt you. And here's why. This is a basic principle of social justice. If indeed you're meant to carry this burden the rest of your life because you have a felony conviction of any type, look, in this state you can get a felony conviction for shoplifting. There exists a life imprisonment term for shoplifting above a certain amount over a certain number of times. The minimum thing that you're going to be punished for is life imprisonment for shoplifting. And there are people that commit murder that don't get life in prison on their first offense. I'm just saying that some of this doesn't make sense anymore at some point. And our willingness to say that these people are worse than those people, or that once you've been kicked out of the system, once you're out and you've paid your debt, that there should be some permanent thing that follows you around. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because what they want to say is, look, this guy's already proven that he's a criminal. What's to say? And the statistics show that these criminals get back out of prison, they get to be smarter criminals, and they go back out and they commit more crimes. Now, if you were to take that statement on its face, just for what it is, think about it like this. Then it is indeed a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you let these people get out of prison, number one, you just admitted that they come out of prison smarter criminals than when they went in. Then why are you sending people there? That's my first question. Why are you sending people to a place that you know when they get out, if they get out, they're going to be smarter criminals? That shouldn't be happening at all. Under any circumstances, that shouldn't be happening. So that being said, now let's move on to this question about this thing. So if you're a felon now, and you're required to say whether you're a convicted felon or not if you're making an application to a job somewhere, and that if you lie on that application, they find out that you are a convicted felon, it's grounds for firing you, or that they wouldn't have hired you knowing that you are a convicted felon. Mind you, you paid your debt. You're a model prisoner. You're out here to set your shit straight. You're going to live the straight and narrow now. You're going to be a normal, good citizen. But they've taken this opportunity away from you because they've labeled you a criminal for life. And therefore,
set aside the convictions and stop that.
I'm just saying that then now you can't get a job. You've got all this. You're financially desperate. You can't pull yourself up and be a better citizen because they precluded you from doing it, and then want to blame the fact that you had marijuana or drugs or any kind of conviction at all as the fault of it all. And it's not.
That's right.
So this
kind of set aside a conviction is an easy way to take care of that. And it's easy to put on any petition or constitutional amendment in America to all the 28 states that have the direct initiative access.
My point
in Michigan is just the same.
My point is broader, though, Eric. I don't think it should just be limited to people with marijuana convictions. I think if you're a felon, and you did your debt, you shouldn't be held. You shouldn't be held beyond that. If you want to continue
I think it's correct as long as it isn't pedophilia. You are correct.
Well, I mean, I think any criminal, but I think there are certain criminals that we've criminalized their behavior, but haven't sought a way to fix it or haven't sought a way to contain it. And CSC is one of them. Mentally impaired people or people who are considered crazy. This is another problem that the criminal justice system doesn't need to be, handling. People who have mental problems don't have the capacity to figure out that they're doing something wrong in the first place. They're not really criminals. They're just nuisances. And they wouldn't be nuisances if we had a way to contain them. We don't.
Right.
We did away with it during the Reagan administration. They said, look, we'll just hire more police and put them in jail. It's the wrong way to treat people. And that's what really this comes down to, the treatment of people. The criminal justice system needs entirely reformed from the ground up. This shouldn't be a system of just punishment. If you're going to incorporate punishment into a sentence, it should be explicit and it should be enumerated. And then once that punishment is over with, then it's over with. It shouldn't be maintained the entirety of your life so that you can't become a better person. If indeed you want a justice system that reforms criminals and turns them into good people, then you better give them that opportunity when they get out. End of story. So now, back to Wendy. Eric, did you have anything else that you want to say about the North Dakota thing? If you wanted to get people pointed to your...
I'm just in party. I just like to say maybe our new catchphrase should be, don't sign a petition that doesn't relinquish former marijuana charges.
Well,
I like that.
Well,
if it doesn't relinquish former marijuana charges, don't sign it.
Well, what if it doesn't do that, but it does everything else you want? See, this is the argument that I think that people like Jeff Hank would be making if I'm to argue in their favor. Because
that's what I want. I have former marijuana charges.
No, I get it, but that's just a special interest thing. Like, you have a special interest in that because you have former marijuana charges. Maybe somebody else who doesn't have former marijuana charges doesn't care about that issue.
There's so many people who will sign it that don't care about legalizing marijuana, that want to help family members get a second chance at life so they can work again. And that will make people vote for it. See, that's the difference.
Look,
People don't give a shit about
that's a great
going to get people to go vote for it.
That's a great point, Eric.
Everyone has a family member that's been affected by it.
Look, it's a great point, but it's a broader point if it's inclusive of more people than just marijuana charges.
I think it should be the biggest point of the whole thing. Because everyone talks about the war on crime, the war on drugs, and the prisoners of war from that. Well, that's what we should be focusing on.
There isn't a war on
change and save the people.
There isn't a war on crime, and there isn't a war on drugs. There's a war on our own people, and it needs to stop.
Correct.
All right,
and that's a way for people to unite.
We got to go, Eric. But
thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you for calling and weather out that storm for us, and stand up for them people out of Standing Rock. We're behind them.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Peace, brother. 248-278-8067. There's no time for your call, but that's our number. Wendy, this thing with Senator Warren, I think it's important.
Well, what is she actually accomplishing? Because I looked at the article, and it said that she was going to help marijuana-related businesses, like, suppliers to marijuana dispensaries and that sort of thing. But I didn't see anything specifically about, like, dispensaries or those types of businesses who are still having problems.
Right now, so right now, what's going on is anybody with a bank account that they can attribute back to marijuana trafficking in any form is being closed down because the banks are too afraid that they're going to get audited and they're going to get fined for propping up, a RICO type thing. Racketeering, money laundering. As long as marijuana is considered a Schedule I substance and banned by the federal government, the banking system will not let you trade in it at all, under any terms or circumstances. So you might even be just a paraphernalia shop. The fact that people might be coming there to purchase things for marijuana, they will tell you cannot have your MasterCard Visa system.
Yet they proved that Wells Fargo was associated with, like, the Mexican cartel trade. And what type of punishment did those guys get?
So again, you take this in a different direction because that's not the focus of your point, but you're going to make me go down a different place. Yes.
It is the focus because it's showing the hypocrisy of how average person just trying to make money on the street, doing what they're supposed to do in America, which is to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make the business and make a name for yourself, get shut down by the little person. But the big people who do the same thing on a larger scale, they go free.
Well, okay, so we're already defocused from Senator Warren, which was the point we were trying to come back to. But I'll just entertain that thought because you're making a good point.
But they're the bank. They're the bank.
Yeah, they're a bank, but they're just a business.
Talking about banking.
It's just a business. It's just a business like any other.
But the thing is that the banks themselves did this, and they still have access to all the money they want, 0% interest. But the people who are making money, the average person, cannot get access to the bank.
But
the bank can do the same dirty shit themselves.
What I'm saying is that the bank is just adhering to federal law and protecting their own business by saying if you've got marijuana-related businesses, we cannot take your money. Because if you do, all the stuff that you just talked about that they've got access to and that they make money from goes goodbye. That's what they're doing. They're protecting their own financial interests. This has nothing to do with about the banks hating marijuana or hating marijuana money. They would love to take that money. They're not going to do it, though, and put all their other investments at risk.
But they already did it, and it was illegal, but it was on a giant scale with Mexico.
Yeah,
they're already doing things that are illegal, but they get a pass on.
Well, because
it's just a hypocrisy whether something's legal or not. It's just a matter of whether you can pay the fine to continue your business or not.
It is, but again, when you take back and look at the broader picture, the banks are just like Big Pharma and some of these other big special interest groups. They run part of the system. They run part of the game. They write their own laws. Listen, the banking guys write their own laws with their own attorneys, and they take it down to the representatives and say, this is what you're going to pass. Just like oil does, just like agriculture does, just like Monsanto does. This is what our system is turned into. It's pay to play. It's what we got now. And this is why for 40 plus years we've had a problem with getting cannabis recognized as not a dangerous thing, because the guys with all the money have been busy labeling it that way and spending lots of money, much of it yours, your own money, and giving you the message that this is dangerous, keep your kids away. That's the message. So if I'm a big bank and one of my big customers is, Marlboro has no problems with the MasterCard Visa system selling cigarettes across the country. But so this is why the banks are doing what they're doing. What Elizabeth Warren is trying to say, to clarify your earlier question, because you sounded confused about it. Elizabeth is saying, look, we're going to take away the stigma of the banks in dealing with marijuana-related businesses. So the banks no longer have a threat to them from the federal government or the Justice Department in closing down their accounts or restricting their ability to conduct business because they're under investigation for a RICO violation. Or because they believe they're racketeering or doing this other stuff inside the U.S. See, what you're talking about is stuff that was done through banks, through those banks, but those transactions were out of the country. Yes, it's still illegal. Yes, they're still conducting business here. Yes, they're still regulated here. It's still a U.S. bank. Many of these banks are not even U.S. banks, like HSBC. A lot of these banks got busted in the whole mortgage fraud scandal. They didn't pay any prices then either, other than pay some money. Look, we had to bail them out and they had to pay us back. Nobody went to prison there. Nobody. So there's nobody that's at the heads of these corporations that are looking at going to jail for violating federal laws anyways. What they're protecting is not somebody going to jail. They're protecting their assets because they aren't all theirs. But what Senator Warren wants to do, and what she's, what the article says, you said you read part of the article. I'll tell people what it says. Do I even have the right one? Hang on a second. I might have pulled up the wrong one. So, Senator Warren, it's part of a wider effort by Warren and others to bring the burgeoning $7 billion marijuana industry in from a fiscal limbo, she said, forces many shops to rely solely on cash, making them tempting targets for criminals. And this is what all the legal states have been complaining about for years. That this is all like, we need the ability to do our thing without interruption or interference or threat from the banks. We need to be able to use the banks to capture our money so that we're not targets. And instead of doing that, because the federal government said, no, we'll loosen some restrictions, but we're still going to reserve the right to sue people and seize accounts over what we believe is criminal activity. The banks weren't biting. The banks are like, oh, no, we need a bigger guarantee than that. So they still have been closing accounts. I had an account through Chase when I first opened up regarding this radio show. It was the medical marijuana radio show. And so that's how I opened up the bank account. I had a Visa card that said medical marijuana on the card. If I was still a member of that bank, I'm not. They would have pulled my card. They would have closed my account. In fact, they threatened to. It's one of the reasons I left and went to a credit union. But when I went there, I decided to change the name of the show and remove the word marijuana so that wasn't an issue because I needed MasterCard Visa to be working. And I didn't want my bank account to be seized or be associated with an illegal business. I'm just doing an entertainment show and the news. Cut it out already. I thought it was entertaining, though, that I had a Visa card that said marijuana on it. Because it's such a throw into the face of the federal government and their ban on it. Here we are doing a show about it and making money because it's got the word in there. So now for some reason, the stupid bank wants to close down my account because of the name of the show. Come on. Isn't that going towards free speech? I'm a radio show. So in any event, what Senator Warren is trying to do is say, look, we're going to take all the restrictions from bank on pot businesses away. The Justice Department, the banking system can't be threatened by the Justice Department or the federal government over its transactions with marijuana businesses. Now, what this will do is it will free up people to do this. It'll also free up your local street dealer to take your MasterCard Visa transaction.
Does this include dispensaries? Because if it doesn't,
it does. It's all marijuana businesses. It just said shops. Shops that rely solely on cash, making them tempting targets for criminals, quotes the story. So it's anything. Look at the banks are discriminating against dispensaries. You don't have to be a dispensary. You could be a candy maker. You could be a radio show like mine, and they won't take your money. They won't let you open an account. They will close your account, say, here's a check, go back and take it somewhere else. Because we're not handling your cash.
What's interesting is that they haven't allowed dispensaries to do the banking what they want to do, but they can take the taxes and that can go into a bank and that's okay. The taxes from the dispensary when they charge them for
it's really a double. It doesn't matter the taxes that they're paying, the retail taxes and all that stuff, because that's all state stuff. It's the federal.
But that's also medical related. I mean, it's marijuana related, so they can take the money once it's been washed.
No, you're not distinguishing the line between the two. Let's just be clear about what money is going where. So if you got a state business that's operating legally in the state as a dispensary, right, or a collective or whatever it is, and they're making money, and then they have to pay taxes, and they probably are collecting sales tax and other stuff. So they're paying the sales tax, they're paying the tax on their business, they're paying their licensing fees and all that stuff, all these regulatory things. But the federal government, through what is it? I can't remember the particular regulation. It's 10. I can't remember it. It's got a D in there, an E in there. Anyways, this particular federal tax regulation that says if you got your money from if your money is ill-gotten gains, in other words, it was obtained illegally through drug sales, specifically, that it's taxable at a rate of 90%, and that you don't get any tax write-offs for your regular business activities. So the federal government won't recognize standard deductions, things like heat and rent and payroll and stuff like this that you can normally write off your income taxes as a business. They won't allow these deductions. So it doesn't matter. The federal government doesn't need to take a stance on saying, oh, well, we can't take your income tax money and all this other money because they're still taking 90% of whatever you made before your deductions. So you might be redlined at the end. You might be in debt at the end of the year because you what little money you made, they took 90% of. What if you didn't make any money? Now you would be in debt. So, and I'm not saying that that's the situation people are in, but this is what they're in on paper. And so the federal government hasn't had to have a reason, because they're going to get people's income tax money that's income tax. Look, it's income from somebody. We didn't delegate about whether the income was legitimate or not. It's just reported income. Whether you got it from bad stuff or good stuff, whether it was illegal money or doesn't matter, it's still income, so we're going to tax it at whatever your income tax is. So they're going to get that either way. But as far as the money being generated, the lobbying they did to open the shop, to say, look, we're paying sales tax, we're paying all these other taxes, our payroll tax and all this other stuff. We're paying all these taxes. But the federal government doesn't really get to come in and have a say in that because of the way it's set up. Again, it's FICA, and all this other stuff. You're contributing towards your Social Security and it's income tax. You could have been selling coke on the street corner. You could have been a crack dealer, and if you're going to report your income, they're still going to take FICA out of there. And then they're going to take 90% of your ill-gotten gains and take you to prison for selling crack, which is what they're doing to people with pot right now. Plus people are afraid that the banking system leaves a trail, and the trail leads back to all the transactions they did with their business. And so now it's identified the people who are buying, the people who are selling, and a big target, again, for the federal government or state officials if they wanted to come in and use it. So the battle isn't over with, but the war is being won by people like Senator Sanders. I just called her Bernie. Go feel the burn, Elizabeth Warren. People like Senator Warren and Senator Sanders, who would also say the same things. Banks should be allowed to do business with these states. And all states, for that matter. Cannabis shouldn't, preclude you from making $1 in this country. It's going to have to go that way because there's no other feasible way to make it work. So the federal government's going to have to take the stance, and it's little baby steps, like the ones being perpetuated by Senator Warren, that are going to get us there. And that's what that story means. I hope that clarified it for you, because, you seem to be a little confused about whether it included dispensaries. It includes all marijuana business.
Well, I was looking for the letter itself online. I haven't seen that yet. I still feel like there's maybe some wiggle room in that story for maybe that being the case.
Right. There's still more to come on that for sure. Still more to come. Listen, Wendy, we are definitely way over time. Thank you for being on the show. Welcome to 2017. I think it's going to be a great year in the cannabis business, no matter what happens. I am afraid for our politics, though. We'll see you tomorrow, next time, on the Full Melt Show. Thanks for joining us. The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.